Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. Oh, we're on Yuri on Ice episodes 9 and 10. I'm so excited because episode 10 is one of my favorites and episode 9 is pretty darn good too. Episode 9, I'll be honest, episode 9 worried me a lot. I'm trying to remember, I haven't watched this series in a while, and I think episode 9 is where Victor goes back because they're worried about Mocha-chan, who ate the steam buns, and so he goes back to Japan, and Yuri has to perform, again, talking about how it's different, Yuri has to perform his free skate by himself without Victor there. And if I remember correctly, it doesn't exactly go as good as it has in the past, but it's okay because we all know how this song and dance ends up going, right? So it ends up all right, but he ends up not doing as well as he originally wanted to because Victor wasn't there to encourage him and like be inspiration for him. And he couldn't do the hand thing with him, which I'm sure we'll get to when we watch it. But episode 10 is my jam. So I'm really excited for episode 10 when we get to it. It's going to be kind of weird doing the discussion. I am going to take notes on episode 9 only because I have the Blu-ray, and for some reason they did episodes 1 through 9 on the Blu-ray and 10 through 12. They saved the best for the second disc, right? And 10 through 12 on the second disc of the Blu-ray. So I'm going to have to like watch episode 9 and then take the Blu-ray out and put the other one in. So that's what it is. But that's okay. So I'm going to take notes on episode 9. So when we get to the discussion, I will be able to go back and talk about episode 10 in more detail and run back through it. But then I'll talk about episode 9 by itself. So that's kind of the plan anyway. But, oh man, I can't believe... The good news is we won't have to split a cup in half anymore because we're going to pretty much have the rest of ROSTELECOM Cup, episode 10, and then the final Grand Prix will be the last 2 episodes. So I'm pretty excited. So yay! But yeah, from here on in, it's all good stuff. It's some angst built in, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. We've met JJ. We've met all the skaters. All the skaters have been met, which is great. And now we just get to see them all interact, and it'll be a fun time. So I hope you all have enjoyed this rewatch. I'm pretty excited about it, but let's not waste any more time. We are going to dive into Yuri on Ice episode 9 and 10, and we're gonna start episode 9 here and get that pulled up, and then like I said, I'll switch back over to the second disc to do episode 10 when we get to it. So there might be like a little jump cut there, but we're gonna start this here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. I love these episodes so much. These are so good. They're very... The episode 9, I forgot how much I liked episode 9. It was really good. But episode 10 is my jam. Episode 10 is just like that setting everything up, setting up stakes, and like setting up the subtle angst in the water. Like just, it's all good. Yes. But yeah, so I had to switch DVDs, or I had to switch Blu-rays, and then talk about... So I did some notes from episode 9 before we talk about episode 10. I've got episode 10 pulled up because I want to like break that one down. But episode 9, there's a lot of stuff that actually happened in this. A lot of things that I forgot was touched on in this episode. Talking about like when Victor hugs Yuri before going to go see Mocha-chan, make sure he's okay. Like just saying like I'll be here in spirit to protect. I'll be there in spirit to like watch over you even when I'm not here to skate. I think that of all the free skates, and this one's like the least focused because Victor's not there, and the free skate essentially is about Yuri and Victor. So of course, since Victor's not there, he spends a lot of it like reminiscing on Victor. I love Yurio's grandpa, like him coming in the car with the pierogies that are the pork cutlables. I want one of those. I want a pierogi that is a pork cutlable. That sounds so amazing. I want one so bad, but it's just so genius. I love that the grandpa knew what Yurio liked and he transferred it to something that was his own to make something special for Yurio. And Yurio's love for his grandpa is just, it's so precious. Like he gets so happy. I love Yurio because he's our angsty kitten, our fiery kitten, but when he has those really like rare few soft moments, it's really beautiful. I'm like, oh, I just love when he gets all excited, and like him and Yuri's relationship in this series, how it develops slowly over time to the point where during the free skate, he's cheering Yuri on. He's cheering Yuri on because he wants him to be good and he wants to face him in the Grand Prix. It's like he knows that he's better than that. Like I love that Yurio the development his character has gone through. It's wonderful. Emil's theme. I like Emil from the Czech Republic. I like him a lot, but his theme being like cyberpunk, I am no longer human. I'm like, what kind of theme is that? You know what? It's funny because there's a part of me that feels like Emil was trying to get with Sarah throughout most of this series, but then the more I watch it, the more I'm like, no, Emil's trying to get with Mickey. Because as soon as the skate stuff is over and Mickey breaks apart from Sarah, Emil doesn't go after Sarah. He chases after Mickey. I'm like, oh, Emil was after him the whole time. Like, how about that? Who knew? And then Mickey and Sarah, it's funny because in this episode, there are a lot of parallels between Mickey and Sarah and Yuri and Victor back during the original free skate where he shatters during the Cup of China, where he shatters Yuri's heart for the free skate. Like there's a lot that have to do with that. Sarah basically crushes Mickey's heart and he performs the best that he has, like Yuri does. But the thing is that's all them letting them go. And it's kind of almost a foreshadowing through Mickey and Sarah with the themes that we get established with Victor and Yuri, because Yuri wants to keep Victor with him, but there's a part of Victor that is now inspired by Yuri and he wants to go back to skating, but he doesn't want to leave Yuri as his coach. So it's kind of like this delicate line of how does he go back skating and also be Yuri's coach? Is that possible? So if I feel like that Mickey and Sarah in this episode kind of set the foundation of the foreshadowing that there's going to be this confrontation of, okay, how do we stay together, but us both be competitive skaters? How do we make this work? Right? I love that. Right? And so I forget also that Mira and Sarah are friends. I forget that during this whole thing, Mira from Russia, her and Sarah are friends and they're constantly together after this. I forgot about that. And then of course, Georgi, he knows how Mickey feels. I for the record, love Georgi. He's great. I'm glad at the end of episode 10, we see him with a girl. We see him like having coffee with a girl. Like Georgi just wants love. He just wants to find a special girl in his life. And it's so sweet. I love him. And I just love that he's like, he knows how Mickey feels. He knows the heartbreak he's going through. And it's like, you just can't help but feel for him, right? And so then there's lots of other things that happen in episode 9 that I forgot about. Sung-gil Lee, he gets nervous. Like we see he kind of like freaks out. And we don't see hardly any of his performance, which I am kind of sad about. We don't see hardly any of his performance in this episode. But he doesn't make it to the Grand Prix final. He gets really nervous and flubs on some of his jumps. And that's how he gets knocked out from making it. It's sad. And we see him crying, like Sung-gil Lee, who's like our cold and calculated skater from Korea. We see him like shedding tears because he didn't make it. And then we see him at home with his dog and it's like the sweetest thing. It's like, I love that we get to see all of these skaters' ambitions and how they all have different loves and hopes and dreams and aspirations. Then we see them all like on their own downtime. It's really, really cute. I like it. And then Yurio, I love Yakov in the English dub when Yurio's like, I'm moving my other jumps to the second half. He's like, that's 6 jumps in the second half. It's suicide. I love how serious he is. And then Nina, the ballerina who's with Yurio, telling him that like strength is about being beauty is about a righteous strength. Strength is nothing without beauty. And it's like, oh, that's such a great thing with figure skating though. It's so true for figure skating is that these figure skaters, they have like got bodies. They've got like, they are athletes. They have trained themselves to do these jumps to push their bodies to the limit. And it's literally, but it's also beautiful. So it's like, I think the line strength without beauty, there is no such thing. It's like, it's so true with figure skating that you can't have a good skate program. It has to be strong. You have to have strength, but you also have to be able to express yourself beautifully. And it's like, aha. And then, yeah, JJ, I love that that Yurio is thinking about during his free skate. He's thinking about all the things that are pushing him and he wants to be as good as Yuri, but he also talks about how like he's like, JJ. I love how he gets so much contempt for JJ because JJ is really good. He is like the skater to beat since Victor's not there. He is the skater to beat, and him and Kristoff. And there's the thing, Kristoff is not arrogant. Kristoff's like, I know what I am and I'm hot stuff, but he doesn't go around parading and singing about it. He just knows it and projects it. JJ has like a rock band making an anthem for him about how arrogant he is and how he's the king. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, I love how Yurio's voice actor in the English dub says JJ. He's like, JJ. It's so good. But yeah. And so I love that pushes him through, and then we transition. The transition from where Yurio, he like gets off the ice and he's thinking about things, and then it hard cuts to Yuri starting, and he does look off, and Yurio's like, what's wrong? What's wrong, pork cutlet bowl? I like how he's gone from piggy to pork cutlet bowl. Like, it's like, and here's the thing. Yurio has no bias against pork cutlet bowls. He actually likes pork cutlet bowls. So it's like, oh, you've gone from being a piggy to being something that Yurio is happy with, is friendly with, right? More than just acquaintances. And there's the thing, Yurio wants him to go to the finals. He wants to beat him in the finals, but he wants to go up against the best, and he knows that Yuri is capable of it. So when Yuri's not giving the best performance that he can, he's like, what's wrong with you? Like, come on, you can do this. And JJ, of course, is like, oh, how sweet. You're cheering him on. I'm like, shut up, JJ. And Yurio's like, But he manages to push through. I love it. Emil's with Mickey. Should have seen it coming. The first time I watched this series, I really didn't notice how much Emil was with Mickey after the separation of him and Sarah. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't Sarah that he was after the whole time. How about it? And honestly, he does a lot better with his program than I thought Yuri would with Victor not being there. I was really worried that he wasn't going to make it when I first watched it. And I was like, no, surely he will. He'll make the finals. There's 2 more episodes. There's 3 more episodes. He'll make it. But he bit by the skin of his teeth. The only reason he did was because he got second at the Cup of China. That's the only reason he knocked Mickey out, because he got 4th. I was like, oh my God. Like that's the only reason. Like by the skin of his teeth. And but if you've ever done like a competitive event like speech or something, you know that just because you get into the finals by the skin of your teeth doesn't mean you're going to be last. No, there's been people that have barely made it in that have won before. So it's like all bets are off now that it's at the final, right? And then we have JJ skating. And you know what? Here's the sad thing is that JJ is so egotistical and arrogant. It like, I have to laugh at him because I'm like, how do you have this much ego? But at the same time, he has this message about how he's skating because it's what he loves. And he wants to share his love with everyone, like with his family, with his friends, with his fans, with his girlfriend. And the message is really sweet. It's actually like, oh, JJ wants to share how much he loves skating with everyone. What a great message. It's just coming out of JJ. I'm just like, there's that layer of arrogance with it that you're like, wow, okay. And then, so JJ wins, Yurio gets second, and Mickey gets third, and Yuri gets 4th, but Yuri ends up making it. And then I forgot about the hug scene. I forgot the hug scene was in this episode. Yuri's hugging everybody, and everyone's reactions. Like, Mickey's like, what are we doing? And Emil's like, oh, are we hugging everybody? Okay. Like, Emil's like all about it. And Song-gil Lee is like, like get away from me. And JJ's like, oh, okay. Hey, what? And then Yurio just screaming and running away. So good. But honestly, my favorite scene of the whole episode is at the very end with the Proshkis, when Yurio confronts Yuri and he gives him the pork cutlet bowl Proshki. And I love these, like, it's your birthday soon, right? And it's like, one, Yurio remembered that it was almost Yuri's birthday. And then he took something that he knows Yuri loves and gave it to him. And he's really soft in that moment. He's like, I had my best performance and I still lost to JJ. And it's like, oh, I love this friendship that blossoms between Yuri and Yurio in this episode. Like, you just see the friendship like bloom between them, and it's so beautiful. And it makes me hopeful that if they do a second season, that we'll get to see Yuri and Yurio's relationship like blossom even more. I hope this whole time, while we've waited for years, that the writer has made us a really good second season. I hope that's been on the table. I really do. Like, please. And then, and so then we have Yuri going to the airport to see Victor, and then like running through rom-com style through the glass and seeing Mocha-chan being okay, and him like hugging him. And then here's the thing. Yuri asks Victor to stay with him as a coach until he retires. But Yuri's plan is to get the gold and retire with the gold. So he's just going to have Victor stay on as his coach until the end of this year, because he knows Victor probably wants to skate. And Victor says, he's like, it sounds like a marriage proposal. And he's like, and he doesn't deny it. He's like, I'm like, and says, I hope you never have to retire. Which part of that is, it's not that Victor doesn't want to skate, but it's like he doesn't want Yuri to stop skating. He wants to be able to skate with him, and that's where things get complicated, because Yuri just wants to keep Victor with him until he can retire, and Victor's like, I want to skate against you, I want to skate with you, and it's like, ah! So it's like setting up the angst, just setting up the seeds of it right there and then in this sweet, beautiful rom-com-y moment. It's like, oh my god. So yeah, then we have episode 10, which is my favorite episode. I'm going to rewatch it here with y'all. It's my favorite out of all of them. I freaking love it. It's so good. And get to it here. I just love it's like a casual episode of like, what do these guys do? Because we've built up this entire series that the Grand Prix final is like the biggest deal. And I love that we actually started at the Grand Prix final. Episode 1 actually occurred at the Grand Prix final, but we just see the aftermath. Well, not all the aftermath. But we see the aftermath of Yuri getting 6th and him just like being at the bottom of the barrel and then him crying in the bathroom, right? We just see that. And it's so sad, but which somebody has to be last, right? I can't remember who's last this time around. I'm gonna have to wait and see. But it's sad. It's interesting that we started there at the Grand Prix final and now we've built it up this entire season. We built it up this entire season and it's like, okay, so what's this going to be like? And then, of course, because it's such a big deal, we have to have like a special episode before it, like a pre-episode, right? So now we're getting to, I'm going to get to the end here, the end of the OP. All right. I forgot we started with the pool scene. I forgot we started with the pool at the top of the hotel, which granted, it's like winter. And of course, Victor is swimming at the top of the, I'm sure it's a heated pool, but still. And I like that Victor narrates this episode. This is interesting that it's from Victor's perspective, that we see him narrating it, which by the end of it, when we have the confrontation between Yurio and Victor, it makes sense. But he talks about how the two things in life he hasn't done a lot of is living and love. He's always been a skater and he hasn't made time for the other L's in his life. And it's like, But by the end of it, he tells Yurio, he's like, you're not the only one who's learned the L's from Yuri. It's like, it's like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, it's canon at this point. I think this episode, it's like, it's canon that Yuri and Victor are a thing. I mean, but again, I talked about this in the last set of episodes. One of my favorite things is the relationship and friendship between Victor and Chris. I love it. And Chris just walking up. I love the little details that we get with each of the skaters, like their phone covers. Like Victor's phone cover is the outfit that he wears from his last Grand Prix final. It's like a little outline of it. Yuri's is blue and it's of his dog. And then you see Chris's and it's like zebra print. It's like lime green zebra print. I'm like, of course it is. And he like shows up with the glass and the bottle of bubbly with his robe on. Like, I freaking love Chris. He's such a friend. He reminds me so much of my friend from high school. I can't even tell you all. I cannot even tell you. He's like, I was hoping to go skinny dipping. I actually really like this relationship between Chris and Victor here because he's like, oh, I thought I'd go skinny dipping. And Victor's like, don't let me stop you. Like, and there's nothing like sexual about it. They're just BFFs. They're just really good friends. They are literally really good friends. Like, they are very platonic. And I kind of love it that these, like the two sexiest guys on the ice, aside from like Yuri and Yurio, they're just really great friends. I kind of love it. And he's like, will you take pictures for me? And he's like, sure, I'll even take pictures for you. Okay. And then I love Victor's like thing. He has like the 5 medals and Mocha-chan is like going after the 1 medal. It's so cute. And so of course, like any competition, they're at the hotel that's right next to where the Grand Prix final is in Barcelona, Spain. God, the images of Chris on the phone of him with the bubbly, like, what even? Like, I freaking love it. And Victor's like, okay, I'll take these photos for you. I just love the image of him looking up through the phone. It's so cute. And Chris is like, I'm 25. I'm a relic. It's like, I love it. It's so good. And he's known Chris for like 10 years. For the record, Chris had a major glow up. Like, from being like this little kid with floofy hair to like having the glow up. And Victor, of course, had his beautiful long hair. When Mappa finally decides to get Ice Adolescence done and quit teasing us with it, I want to see Victor with his long, luxurious hair. I love Victor with his long hair. And he's like, oh, And of course, I do actually like JJ's costume from last year. It's really pretty. And then, of course, Chris's looked really good, too. Mm-hmm. And so Chris, I like that Victor's like, I was worried that Chris wouldn't be motivated to skate, but he clearly is. And then Yurio's great when they get to the hotel because he has all these fangirls that he wants nothing to do with Yuri's Angels. And we get like a little bit of the PR message here because Nina's like, be nice to your fangirls. And Yurio's like, I guess I'll pose for photos with them. It's so cute, right? Like our 15-year-old, like, fiery kitten. Mm-hmm. And so then, and I love that we saw the thing where he showed Yakov and Nina the Proshkis. That's so cute. I love it. And I love that he's in the photo with all of them, with Yuri and his family, and Victor's in there too, of course. And then Yuri's Angels. And I love these, like, his fan base, which granted, they are kind of insane. Like, his fangirls are, like, crazy, like, sniffing him out. And then, of course, JJ shows up because he has to with his fiance, who has a JJ necklace. But they both, you know who they remind me of? Have you ever watched that movie Best in Show? Have you ever watched Best in Show? And Parker Posey is like in it, and she and this guy, they're like yuppies, and they like order out of Eddie Bauer catalogs and have like matching cardigans, and they like met at a Starbucks. Like, they remind me of that couple. Like, I would picture them, they like met at a Starbucks is how JJ met her. Nothing against Starbucks, but it's just like, ugh, they're just so basic. And I love that Yurio's like, I forget he called her a bitch in this. He actually calls her that in the English dub. And JJ's like, whoa now, we can't help it that, you know, your girlfriend's not nearly as hot as mine. That your fangirls aren't as hot as my fangirls. And I love Yurio's face when JJ's getting the photo. It's the funniest damn thing. But yeah, poor Yurio in the second place bench. Yeah, he just does not like JJ at all. He can tolerate Yuri, but he does not like JJ. But yeah, and then all the fangirls in the background are fighting against each other. It's great. And then JJ is only distracted by Odebek, which is interesting. So it's like JJ just wants to make a friend, but he's the worst. So no one wants to be his friend. And then we meet Odebek. For the record, I really like Odebek. He's like the Sosuke Yamazaki of Yuri on Ice. He's so stoic and quiet, but he actually has a good heart and like strong moral principles to him. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't look comfortable up there with like Victor and Kristoff from the last season. Which is interesting because one of Kristoff's outfits looks exactly the same as it was last year, which is interesting. Odebek Alton. And he just looks like very uncomfortable sitting up there like at the press conference, and Victor's looking over at him like, what's your deal? But he's 19, so when him and Yurio first met, he was 14 and Yurio was 10, which is interesting. And he remembers, of course, Yurio, and Yurio's like, the what? Say, what's happening? What's going on? And he's so like tall, dark, and handsome and silent, and Yurio's not used to that it's hilarious. Also, let it be known that Peachite, so we cut to Peachite, and let it be known that Peachite has this frantic extrovert energy that Peachite just has to be doing something all the time. I love Peachite. He's so handsome. And he's so fun and friendly. But he's like, Gino, I gotta go. And Gino's just at the bar. He's like, I gotta get out of here. I'm not old enough to drink, so I gotta go and take pictures. And his phone cover has the hamster on it. So cute. Yeah, all the shots of Peachy, they love animating him. He like is, and of course Leo and Guang Hong Guang, you know who I'm talking about, Hong Guang-ji. He's like in there with Leo. Interesting. So our top 6 skaters are Peachy, Yurio, JJ, Odebek, Kristoff, and then Yuri. And Odebek is like the one we've seen the least skating. Mm-hmm. We gotta have somebody new to see a new program at the end, right? But yeah, I like that Victor calls Yuri a sleeping beauty, and him like showing up with Kristoff. There's so many good moments in this episode where he shows up with Kristoff and they just leap into bed with him, like, draw a hot bath, do it. And then he's like, you guys are icicles, get away from me. I love it. And then Victor talking about how he's had all the pork cutlet bowls. He's been able. Victor would be well acclimated to Japan, having all the pork cutlet bowls in the hot springs. Even though we see Yuri with him and heading towards Russia by the end. Mm-hmm. But seeing how in the last 8 months they've developed this relationship with one another, it's wonderful. And then of course Yuri wakes up and he's like, "Where's Victor at?" And he gets all nervous because it's the Grand Prix final, and last year he flubbed really bad at the Grand Prix final. So he's like, I just want to do good. And so he checks his phone. I love that Kristoff, him and Victor having the matching sunglasses and the poses. Love it. And then we see JJ. JJ and his fiance would use the cat Snapchat filter to also show their engagement photos. Well, of course they would. Of course they would. And poor Yurio. Mila. I called her Mira. It's Mila. She having the pictures of Yurio with his fangirls. And then, yeah, Yuri's being very, very nervous about tomorrow. We can see, like, Yuri's butt on display. So, after the practice and everything, Yuri decides that he wants to go sightseeing. And I love that he's a little bit assertive with Victor. He's like, no, I want to go sightseeing. Again, Victor putting his arms all around Yuri, being like, come on, you can do this. What should we do now? He's like, maybe we should get some sleep. And he's like, I want to go sightseeing. And then JJ, of course, is like, I'm out. And then Yurio's just pissed off at him. So yeah, so they go sightseeing, they go to like the caverns and everything, and then they go shopping. And we get all sorts of interesting things about Victor and Yuri's. Like, Yuri, whenever he's searching for something, he's quiet and contemplative, and his eyes sparkle because he has all these ideas. And Victor is a diva and loves to shop. Loves to splurge, of course. But Yuri is trying to figure out something to do, and so Victor takes him like on a trip to go. He says he's gonna get him a new suit and tie combo, but Yuri's like, I like my suit and tie. And so we get a little bit of dissension between them, and it's kind of funny because no relationship is perfect, right? No relationship is perfect. There's always gonna be like little tiny hiccups within it, right? And so even if you are in a relationship with somebody you really, really care about, there's going to be times where you argue or you get frustrated with each other. And like Victor and Yuri have had a long day of shopping, and they left the bag of nuts on the thing and it got stolen. And he just gets like really nervous about it and over concerned about it. And Victor's like, just let it go. And Yuri can't let it go. And he's like, well, then he's like, maybe you're tired. And Yuri's like, well, I'm not tired. He's like, well, I am. And so they have that little spat, and it's just like any couple would have that quarrel, right? It's just something any couple would have, but then they get over it, right? And they go to the Christmas shopping place, and that's where we get to the rings, which we'll talk about here in a minute because but in the meantime, we have poor Yurio trying to escape his fangirls. They are seriously like the most rabid, like they're sniffing the ground trying to find him, and you would think that would be exaggerated for a fan base, but no, I think there's been just as rabid fan bases. My best friend is a big Harry Styles fan, and she was telling me that like some girl like got his vomit off the side of the highway and tried to sell it on eBay, and I'm like, that's the most disgusting thing I ever heard of. But the fact that happened made me go, no, this is pretty on point. But then like a knight in shining armor to come rescue his damsel in distress, Odebek shows up on the motorcycle, clad in his leather jacket, hands Yurio a helmet, and it's like, let's go. Yurio is such a tsundere, but it's like Yurio tries to be like, I think one thing that draws him to Odebek is that Yurio, he's constantly been called like the fairy of Russia, and he's been like, he has very like androgynous features, but a lot of girls and stuff, his fangirl base, they kind of feminize him. And so for Yurio, Odebek saying you have the eyes of a soldier, like he's like, I feel like, you know, you're very like strong, is like something that Yurio's like, oh, okay, nobody's ever really told me that before. And then he's like, I want to be your friend. He's like, we seem, and I like the reason. He's like, why do you want to be my friend? We're competitive skaters. And Odebek's so blunt and honest. He's like, we seem similar. It's that simple. It's like, so it's very much, it's not really even an opposites attract sort of thing. It's just like they have the same moral core, and Odebek recognizes it, and he's like, you have the eyes of a soldier, and I want to just like be your friend. And Yurio's like, okay. Which, I'm sorry, but we watched the Welcome to the Madness. I'm like, yeah, friend. Okay, sure. We'll keep calling it that. Yeah. Okay. We're in a couple skate at the very end. I just wanted you to I want to show up Victor and Yuri, so can you help me? And Odebek's like, sure, I'll just stand here and look hot. I think I like Odebek's undercut too. It's really good for him. Looks good on him. But yeah, Yurio made a friend. Him and Odebek, these rival skaters. And so then we cut back to Yuri and them. And I like that we see, again, the dissension between them, but also because Victor puts on this front that he's always like in control and always optimistic and like knows what's going on, but Victor can sometimes be aloof, and Victor doesn't always pay attention the best. That's kind of, I like that they don't make Victor out to be this perfect person and Yuri's not out to be this perfect person, because very easily, the idol, Victor's been Yuri's idol this entire time. You could see how they could easily make Victor like this perfect skater, like he's just like an Adonis and everybody else falls at his feet. But Yuri gets to experience the real Victor, and the real Victor does have some flaws. Like, he's forgetful. Like, he tells Yuri, he's like, here, have some warm wine. It'll cost some spiced cider, like some wine. It'll help calm you down. And Yuri's like, I don't drink before a competition. Like, you know this. We said this back at the Cup of China. And Victor's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. Like, he just wasn't paying the most attention, right? And I don't think Victor meant anything bad by it. It's just he sometimes is forgetful. And he sometimes is aloof and kind of like flighty sometimes. And Yuri, for as much as he panics and gets nervous, he can kind of like, he's very grounded, right? Yuri's very grounded and kind of like extremely loyal. And so then going to the shopping district, it's really cool to see Yuri like looking around trying to find something. Like, he wants to show his appreciation to Victor. And there's so many options. He knows it's Victor's birthday soon. He wants to show his appreciation. He wants to find him something. And then we see him just searching for something, like some kind of object that he can give to Victor to show his appreciation. And of all things that he finds, he sees the jewelry store. And I love that he like looks in like, could that be it? And then his ears get red because he's like, oh, that could be it, but the implications, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I love it. Also, Yuri's carrying all of Victor's shopping bags. I'm like, honey, you are whipped, my friend. But he goes to Maria Dolores. And he's like, this is it. I've always wanted a lucky charm. And Victor's just sitting there like, what? What are we doing? And we don't get silver. No, not bronze, not silver. We're getting gold rings, baby. We're going for the gold. He's going to pay this in installments. It was not cheap. I'm like, yeah. And then we have the scene of the Christmas carolers singing like these beautiful harmonious hymns, and in front of like the basilica there, in front of the church. So the ring scene, there is no heterosexual explanation for this at all. There's not. I'm sorry. At this point, when I first watched this, I was like, oh no, this is a BL. This is canon, right? Because I'm sorry, even if it's a lucky charm, they play it off like they have the whole thing with the engagement later, which we'll talk about, but you don't. If there are any straight men watching this, please tell me if you've heard this one before, that you and your best friend get matching golden rings as charms for one another to thank each other for the hard work of helping one another, and then in front of a church, you slowly peel the leather glove off your best friend's hand, put the ring on the ring finger of each other's hands, saying vows basically about how they can skate to the best of their ability and what they mean for each other. Have you straight men done such things? I have not with any man or woman that I know. So maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's just something I'm not privy to. But putting it on, and I do actually like that he has to slide it on and it kind of goes up over his knuckle. I like that animation choice. That was really good. But yeah, them in front of the cathedral, like just sitting there talking to each other, saying how much they mean to one another. Sure, they're just good friends. Just subtext, right? Blushing as they go. I love it. It's so wonderful. And then, of course, Victor just staring down at it. And then looking at Yuri and saying, just skate the way that would make you happy. God, I love his face. I love the light shining on Victor's face. And he's like, skate in a way that makes you happy. He's like, don't skate for me, skate for yourself. It's like just the looks between them. Yeah, sure. Anytime somebody says that this is all subtext, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty heavy. But sure. I'm like, okay. And the fact that it's Victor, like someone he's idolized since he was younger, and it's him like putting a ring on his hand and staring at him with that loving look. Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. But yeah, so then they go out to, oh God, I can't. I want to stare at it all day. And I love them with their arms around, again, and after you put these rings on each other's hands, you walk away arm over arm, embracing each other, walking to go find some beverages and dinner. Straight as an arrow. I love it. Also the height difference. Gotta love it too. So yeah, Minako and Yuri's sister show up, and they spot Odebek and Yurio at a restaurant together, and they're freaking out, being like, we need to find a way to go sit with them. And Yurio is like blushing and smiling with Odebek. I want to take a picture of that too, because they're like having this great dinner with one another, and like Odebek has a coffee and Yurio has like an orange crush, because yes, but Yurio's like blushing and smiling, and Odebek's like, go on. Nope. I'm like, Odebek, you invited this boy on a date. And so then, of course, they use Yuri and Victor being like, can you get them to eat with us so that we can sit next to them? So they end up going to this big tended area, and they somehow met Kristoff and Peachy along the way and all ate dinner together. And of course, the girls are like, I can't believe this. And they're just crying at the table, and Yurio's like, why are we doing this? And so I love it. I just love that all of them sitting together as friends, like eating. They have the shrimp and all the food. And if you look, it's like the food that was in the transition card. It's really cute. And then I love that and at this point, as Victor's taking a drink of his beer, Yuri reveals that he was too embarrassed to even talk to Victor at first. And we get the bombshell of the whole season, that Yuri has talked to Victor before he came to be his coach. That it had happened. And Kristoff's just sitting there like, oh, you don't know. Like, I feel like Kristoff's getting out his phone. He's like, I'm about to end this boy's whole career. Like, that's just what it feels like. Because watching this episode, it was such a bombshell. You're like, wait, Yuri had talked to Victor before he came to Hotsetsu? And the whole drunken debacle, it's so great. And Victor's like, you didn't remember? So, again, you have Victor not remembering about Yuri's passions, and then you have Yuri forgetting about getting drunk and meeting Victor, and Victor's like, excuse me? And Kristoff's like, yeah, I got naked and danced on a pole, and you were practically on top of me. It was a great time. And Yurio's like, it was disgusting. I had to be in a dance-off. And Kristoff just looks so innocent the whole time. He's like, like, you did. It was a great time. He's like, oh, you know. And Minako's like, I need to see photos now and videos. And Yuri's like, you're joking. Because Yuri remembers he's like his dad when he gets drunk, and he just kind of goes off the rails. And so they say it was the after skate party, and he'd gotten sixth, and so he felt horrible, and Gino made him go. And so he drinks a lot of champagne, which if you don't drink a lot, that would be... And I like that if you look here, Victor's like looking over his shoulder, like there's Yurio standing there like he'd rather not be here, and Victor's looking over his shoulder, noticing Yuri looking down. So Victor noticed him before he even got drunk. Victor, that's the thing Yuri didn't realize. Victor was noticing him from the start, and Yuri he didn't have enough confidence to realize it. Aww. And so he drank. How many of those did he drink? He drank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He drank like, wow, how many of those? 3, 6, 9, 12. He drank 16 flutes of champagne. You wasted, honey. And then from then on, it's over. And I like that Yuri's like, oh my God, no. And Kristoff also has multicolored zebra print phone covers. This one's purple and orange. It's cute. And Peachy's like, I have to see this. He's wasted. Oh my God, I love it. And so then at that point, Kristoff, because he is the perceptive one of the group, he notices the rings. He sees the rings on the hand. He's like, oh, what are the rings for? Kristoff is the biggest supporter of Yuri and Victor and their relationship. And he's like, wants to like keep it going. Oh my God, I love it. And everybody's like, wait, what? And Minako's like, you don't wear jewelry. And then he's like, oh, well, Victor's like, look. And Peachy being ultimate wingman of the century, best friend, was like, oh, congratulations on your marriage. I love it. Oh my God. And then just announcing it to the world. Peachy, best boy, trying to be nice. And everybody's like so supportive. It's so cute. And yeah, Yuri's like, no. And I love that Odebek's like, congrats. Like Yurio's freaking out, but Odebek's like, okay, cool. And Kristoff's like, sure. I love Kristoff. He's one of my favorites. But then Victor says the line, he's like, no, we'll only get married once he wins gold. So if they do a season 2, you better be winning friggin' gold. I want to see a marriage. I want to see a wedding. Damn it. Do it, Yuri on Ice. It's 2022, damn it. And he's like, oh, gold medal. And that gets everybody's attention. That gets everyone's attention, is the idea that, oh, Yuri, you're going to win the gold medal, huh? How about that? Like, everybody's like, Odebek's like a gold, and Peachy's like a medal, and Kristoff's like, ha, and Yurio's like, like a cat hissing. And then JJ shows up. And JJ is like, I'm the one winning the gold medal, and everybody just leaves. I love nobody wants to hang around him. Everybody just picks up their stuff and goes, like, pays a tab and leaves. And he's like, what's wrong, guys? I almost feel a little bit bad for JJ in this moment. I almost feel a little bit bad because I wish he would have friends. But he's so arrogant. I'm like, JJ, if you just wouldn't shoot yourself in the foot, you'd be fine. Nope. But then we do all the preparations for that morning. And so Yuri wakes up, and Victor's already gone out for his jog, but Yuri has the golden ring, and Victor goes out to the sea that feels like Hotsetsu. And I love that he has like the gleaming. I love that shot of him like in the blues, like staring at the ring. I love it. And then Yurio kicking him, being like, Victor Nikiforov is dead. Like, how dare you let that piglet control you. And I love when he like grips his face and everything, because yeah, Victor realizes, he's like, Yuri's had such an impact. He's like, if he'd stayed in Russia, Yurio wouldn't have been motivated, and he wouldn't have grown like he has this entire season. He wouldn't have been as good of a skater. And Victor realizes, I love it. I love that Victor realizes, he's like, I wouldn't have been this motivated if I hadn't met Yuri either. And Yuri's like, I'm going to win. I'm going to prove to you that ring is garbage. And I love Victor, how calm he is in that moment. Oh, it's like Victor can be quite intimidating and terrifying if he wants to be. I love it. And it's funny because it's like both of them realize what Yuri's done for them, but Yurio's like, you're better than this, Victor. You need to be skating. You don't need to like retire and quit just because Yuri is your boyfriend. He's like, no. He's like, you need to come back to the skating world. And I think Victor knows that too at this point. He's like, Yuri's inspired me just as much as he has everybody else. And he's like, I want to become a skater again. But he's like, how do I do that and be Yuri's coach? Is that even possible? And so it's him trying to figure out, like, what do I do? How do I tell him that? How does this go? Oh, I love it. And then I love that Yurio, he gets mad and flustered and walks away. But then at the very end, he turns back to him and he's like, this place reminds me of Hotsetsu. Like, it's just, the ending of this episode, it's so freaking good. I love it. I just love that tension between them. They both care for Yuri, but Yurio knows that Victor wants to get back on the ice. So good. And then we have them all gearing up for the final 2 rounds. But it's like all the layers of angst have been laid in these 2 episodes. Like the layers of angst have been laid, and it's like, it's like, what do we do? What do we do? But I love that we see everybody there getting ready for the skate program. Everybody's showing up. Everybody looks like on their game. They look intense. It's wonderful. You've got JJ coming up ready to go. Kristoff's ready to go. Odebek's ready to go. Peachy looks confident. And then Yurio looks like he's like gonna slay. And then you have Yuri showing up looking intense. And it's such a badass setup for everything for the final Grand Prix. It's so badass. I love it. And then we have the amazing end credits, which I think I rewatched the end credits the first time I saw this episode. I think I rewatched them like 2 or 3 times because I was just it was amazing. So we have on Victor's phone, we have Yuri drunk and looking, and we see like the photos as he's doing the dance off. We see the photos of him with the tie, with the booze, walking around dancing, and we see him with the brute with the champagne. So the Grand Prix final Sochi, the 5 photos he have are all of Yuri on Victor's phone. And so then we go to Kristoff's phone, and Kristoff has quite a few photos. Like he has Yuri and Yurio's dance off. For the record, I love Yurio's blue suit. He has the banquet and has the 3 of those guys. Then he has like another folder, right? More of them. Oh my God. And so, and also seeing like these guys have skater bodies, like they got abs for days, right? And then apparently he gave somebody his phone so they could take pictures of him and Yuri, like down to their skivvies, like pole dancing with their ties and underwear on. Like, our boys can pole dance too, for the record. Like, oh my God. Like the one where Yurio's like, where Yuri's hoisting himself up. And then he has photos of Victor and Yuri dancing together. And I love that they have like the matador, like a paso doble. And then you see them both. And that's my favorite images of him like holding Victor. Like that's probably my favorite one, is of those two like being held, like him holding Victor in his arms. And then no, that one where they're like dipping there, that one's really good too. I like that one a lot. Oh my God. It's so good. And then somebody's phone is the Proshkis. So whoever has the Proshkis, maybe is it Yuri's phone maybe that he's like giving it around to a bunch of people and they took photos for him? Interesting. Or Peachy got all the photos together into one file. But in any case, yeah, that final scene where everybody's videotaping and he's like grinding up on Victor, and Yurio's shirt's unbuttoned, Yurio's shirt's unbuttoned, his jacket's off. Kristoff's like trying to get his pants and stuff back on. He's like, oh, and Yuri has the tie wrapped around his head, and he's like grinding up on Victor. And he's like, come to my hot springs, come be my coach. And him saying, you can be my coach, Victor. And just his eyes sparkling, and Victor's like, oh. And then him hugging Victor, and Victor blushes. Yeah, it's mutual, y'all. It's mutual. God, I love this episode so much. Episode 10 is just absolutely wonderful. I love it so much. It's great. It's the perfect setup for the final 2 episodes where stuff's gonna go down. It sets the framework for the angst, sets the stakes, sets what everybody's thinking about Yuri and Victor's relationship, sets the stage for our final Grand Prix, and just going back full circle and saying, okay, Yuri got last at the start of this series, the Grand Prix. How's it going to end up this time around? I freaking love it. So yeah, it's great. It's great. I love these episodes. I hope you all do too. I'm very curious to know what you guys thought of these episodes, with your thoughts on them. I hope y'all have enjoyed this reaction discussion, but yeah, or rewatch and discussion. But next week is the final 2 episodes, and welcome to the madness. I have intentionally not watched Welcome to the Madness in a while because I want to savor it. It's going to be so good. But yeah, in any case, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, next week we'll finish off talking about old Yuri on Ice. See you guys. Bye.